Our first amateur title fight all night, kicking off the main card at 74, undefeated Dalton against undefeated Joziah King Fry, both 3-0, both fresh prime as amateurs ready to make the jump up to the professional ranks. First they meet each other as opponents. Who will go into the professional ranks undefeated? And who will emerge the amateur champion tonight?
Yep, Calvin Dalton's making his way to the cage now. Like you said, both these guys are 3-0. This is a great matchup here.
Yeah, right. Both guys have been really dominant so far in their careers, and now, you get these two guys that have been on these tears and have them run into each other head first, right at the tail end of their amateur career, right before they go pro. You really couldn't make a better fight than this at this stage of their career, right? It's risky for both of them, right? One of them going to leave and is no longer going to be undefeated. But really, what we're looking for at this stage is that they get good experience before jumping up into professional ranks. And this is what this is going to be.
Right, and that's, like you just said, it's all about experience at the amateur ranks. This is a very high-level fight for amateur. Either of these guys could make their pro debut at any time, but you'll have to see them get the experience and an opportunity to win a title, right? Go into your pro career riding a victory and having a belt as an amateur, I think, is a great way to enter the pro ranks.
For sure.
Calvin Dalton is now in the cage. He's gotten all 3 of his wins by finish. And now this man, Joziah Fry, his wrestling is unstoppable. I mean, he is just an animal when it comes to wrestling, and it's, you just, with these types of guys, want to see who's going to be able to stop it. Because every time down to the ground, he is just a wet blanket. He completely controls all the positions. And 2 of his victories, he was able to finish with punches, right? And it was later in the fight. It's not always the most exciting for the fans, but is so technical. And if you're talking about just high pedigree wrestling, this is the man. Right? And can Dalton stop that onslaught?
Right. It's a problem. And all his opponents have known that that's what he's going to do, right? And yet haven't been able to stop it so far.
Right. They know exactly what he's going to do, right? And they still can't stop it. And that just shows how good he is. And then it shows he just drowns guys on the ground. I know he had a finish in the 4th round, finish in the 5th round. And, he just wrestled and drowned them, took them into deep waters, and then able to finish them on the ground.
It's a slow burn nourishing process. He seasons the meat, puts it in the fridge overnight, and cooks it to a temper later. That's what he does. He just, like you mentioned, he drowns opponents, and he's at that stage of the amateur career where he's leaning hard on his wrestling pedigree, which is as substantial as we've seen. The guys that he takes down, the way he does it, the emphasis of which he executes his wrestling, it's the building block and the foundation for a great career. But in talking to Joziah Fry, he's talked about up aggression. He's talked about taking chances. He's had a great team with Team Rockstar. Coach Vic Becknell's been working with his hands. He's Felix in his corner, is helping him along with kicking up aggression, and he's facing somebody with an ample wrestling pedigree in his own right, Cal Dalton, who's implemented that, used the takedown defense to big knockouts. So Cal Dalton's known for the more dynamic things at this weight class, whereas Joziah Fry is utmost control, who then breaks you into a finish. So, a captivating matchup. Both have been pristinely effective in their approach, and somebody's got to break tonight. So Joziah Fry, the champion on this entry to the cage, justly so.
And with Joziah Fry, right, at some point, someone's going to be able to stop his takedowns, right? So, of course, his corner is working heavily on his striking. Is that ever going to be his main strength? Probably not, right? When you're such a dominant wrestler like this guy is, you want to continue to focus focus on your strengths, right? Don't get too focused on your weakness. You want to bring your weaknesses up to a competitive level. Be interested to see if he does end up on his feet for periods of time. You know, if he starts to put together some solid striking, I mean, we got a really dangerous man on our hands here.
Yeah, right. He, with his wrestling, can dictate where, against most opponents, again, where the fight is going to take place. So if he can start to feel comfortable on his feet, then again, that is a very dangerous guy to deal with.
Right, and that's why wrestlers make that transition, right? Because where the fight goes, they can decide if they want the fight on the ground. But again, if they're against like a super high-level jiu-jitsu black belt, striking's not that great, and they think they can outstrike them, they get to choose to keep the fight on the feet,
right?
Because they can sprawl and brawl too, right? And that's what makes these wrestlers so dangerous as they transition to MMA.
Right. It's all about those differentials. Like, what's the biggest gap in skill, and can you keep it in that lane? And for this, it's going to be very interesting to see. You know, Fry hasn't, from what I've seen, faced a ton of adversity or anybody that can stop him. Can Calvin Dalton do that?
Yeah, can we get a stat on how much time Joziah Fry has spent on his feet? I mean,
right.
How long do you think he's actually stood?
That is an amazing stat that I'd like to pull up. I don't know if we got that time sure, but I'll tell the tape for this first amateur title fight brought to you by Cargill.
All right, we're kicking off our amateur flyweight title. Both guys young, Dalton 24, Fry 23. Dalton's 1 inch taller at 5'6". Both men successfully made championship weight. And Joziah Fry with a 4-inch reach advantage despite being 1 inch shorter. We'll kick it off to Andy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to action. This next fight is brought to you by 42nd Brew. And now to kick off main card with our first amateur title on the line. This for the Cage Titans Amateur Flyweight Championship, scheduled for 5 rounds, 3 minutes apiece. A fight between 2 undefeated amateur combatants. Somebody's O has to go. Introducing to you first, in the red corner, with a perfect amateur mixed martial arts record of 3-0, standing at 6 feet, 5 foot 6 inches tall, weighing in at 124 pounds. From South Hamilton, Massachusetts, he's representing F5 Fight Team and the New England Cartel. Let's hear it for the challenger, Killer Cal Dalton. And now, introducing his opponent, standing across from him in the blue corner, also with a perfect, undefeated amateur mixed martial arts record of 3-0. He stands 5 foot 5 inches tall, and he weighed in at 124 pounds. From Providence, Rhode Island, he's representing Team Rockstar. Let's hear it for the reigning, defending Cage Titans Amateur Flyweight Champion, Joziah King Fry.
Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to your amateur flyweight championship bout. You guys know the rules. We're going to know the rules in the back. Expect good, clean, fair fight. Protect yourself at all times. And when I say stop, you stop. Any questions from you, Blue? Any questions from you, Red? Touch gloves if you want.
Referee Tommy Santana.
In the blue trunks, we got and black.
The crowd's passionate too.
Let's kick off this main card. They touch him up. How long till Fry?
Well, it looked like if Dalton hadn't moved back, just he would have. Yep, Dalton circling away, but Fry wants a shot on that overhand right.
Yeah, what Dalton's doing good early is he's cutting angles, right?
Yep.
He's not moving straight forward and back, right? He has to cut angles here. Because Joziah Fry, he's looking for that takedown.
Oh, Dalton intercepts it.
Dalton with a takedown. That's big for his confidence right there.
Yep.
Be able to score a takedown like that against Fry early in the fight.
Yep.
And now controlling. Controlling the legs.
Yep. And that's really smart. You know, it kind of reminds me now of, I believe it was GSP was fighting BJ Penn, right? And everybody always said, you don't go to the ground with BJ Penn. But everybody was always getting taken down by BJ Penn. And GSP went and put him on his and was able to dominate the fight from there.
Right. He said, I am not impressed with your jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And then he took him down, right? And he had that nasty top control.
Yep.
Nice right hand from Cal Dalton, who making Joziah Fry lean on his defensive wrestling, who wall walks back up to their feet. But who'd have expected that? But Joziah Fry working and cranking on that overhook bite. Nice knee to the body from Cal Dalton. Like we mentioned, he's the explosive one of the two.
Yeah, that hurt. I mean, the way Fry is shielding with his shin says that hurt.
Yeah, he lifted that leg up quick after he took that knee. He doesn't want to eat any more of those.
Yeah, and we mentioned sometimes it's just the timing and the placement. A nice body kick, that teeth sneak in there.
Fry is not biting down on his mouthpiece, and that is making nervous here if he gets caught.
Nice right
Couple
hand.
big shots. And that's what we talk about. You know, how long till we see Fry start mixing in some striking? He's already looking a little bit more comfortable on his feet. Ooh, big punch, and he paid for it. Ate an uppercut for his troubles.
Yeah, big reaction from Fry on that, but a nice slip and rip from Cal Dalton. Showing his toughness and coming after it, though. Oh, big right hand from Fry.
Fry has a little tendency to lift his chin up a little bit when he enters. That's a dangerous thing to do.
He's really dipping his weight into his legs every time he does well.
And his right hand is dropping a little bit, but he's got some speed on that straight right hand. That's Joziah Fry. Nice, another one. He dipped under, made it an overhand and landed.
And he bites down on the mouthpiece every time. Like, it's too loose out there out in the open. Like, you've got those that you can see.
Guillotine. Cal Dalton diving on the guillotine as Joziah Fry shot in.
Yeah, he fell right into that guillotine.
He's got a good angle and he's staying nicely, but that's still a good bite on the choke.
Yeah, he needs to get himself to the other hip.
So good defensive posturing from Joziah Fry. Cal Dalton landed the effective strikes this round. Joziah Fry landed some good ones too, but Cal Dalton surprising everyone, having the more top control time in the first round.
Right, as we were discussing before the fight, we wouldn't have imagined that. You know, smart on Dalton's part. Yeah. Listen into the corner.
You're going back and you're letting these launch punches push you. You should go first. Yeah. With straight punches and then gloves, okay? Force you to take down if you want. Doesn't make that. But you can't stand there. That's when you can hit with the right hand. Come forward with jab your body, then over the top with the right if you want. You went first.
Yeah. And that right hand. He's getting tired, his mouthpiece coming out. You crack him hard, he's gonna get rocked.
So go jab, straight two, and then stand, okay? Jab, two, stand, all right? You understand? But you gotta go first. You can't stand and wait.
Wipe that up.
You understand? So we're gonna go for the jab.
Some advice from the killer Cal Dalton corner. One could certainly imagine that that round is handily scored in his favor. Sure. And that's got to be the first losing round on Joziah Fry's record.
Yeah, he definitely hasn't lost a round yet from the fights that I've seen. It's kind of weird how he's like playing with his mouth guard like that, huh?
Yeah,
is it the wrong size or?
It looks like it's too big.
Right.
Nice right hand from Fry.
If I could tell anything to you fighters, get some mouth guard.
Yep.
It's the best thing you could do, right?
For breathing and protection.
Absolutely.
Indeed, very important in fight. Miguel Davison, competitive first round, a first amateur title. A lot of those. What do you see between these two combatants?
Man, these guys are so even. I think if Calvin just keeps it on the feet, he might be able to clip him, but Joziah Fry is looking a lot better on. He's so much more comfortable with striking. I think, oh, nice grip.
Yeah, I'd agree. Looking very comfortable with this striking. He's shown the improvements in chatting with them over the past weekend. He's wanting to implement and showcase his developing skills. And a great job of mixing it all up there. Scoring a nice trip.
This is a good first step for Fry. This is definitely where he wants to be. You can see he's more comfortable on his feet, but he still needs to clean it up, right? He was definitely eating some shots as he was trying to enter. And with a little bit of that open mouth and the chin up in the air, you know, makes you nervous.
Right. Yeah, if Dalton could time one of those blitzes that Fry does and intercept that, that would be, you know, Fry's running in. He's doubling the impact of anything Dalton throws.
And it's good to see Fry not afraid to go into the fire with strikes, right? But now it's like they'll go to the drawing board and they'll clean it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's good to see his willingness to exchange in the striking department.
For sure.
Back to the drawing board he is, implementing a clinch dominance here against Cal Dalton, right in front of Cal's corner. There's a
nice job dragging them down to the ground. Going to get the hooks in, but Dalton stays rolling.
Dalton doing a good job escaping, trying to start crawling back up.
Fry might be a little bit threatening the neck, or it doesn't seem like it. It seems a little bit high if Dalton scoots out the backside and digs an underhook with his left arm, but I can't know if it's occupied.
It looks like he's just riding a seatbelt grip right now, trying to maintain control as he pulls the leg right there, trying to dominate.
Couple of big shots at the end.
Nice flurry by Fry.
Yeah, there was 10 seconds left. He said, might as well let it rip, right?
Yep, just send it.
Yeah, indeed, a competitive 2 rounds. Joziah inching his way back in and changing things up and implementing that wrestling dominance there. Going to the blue corner for corner, Cam.
Hey, on the cage, you have knees to the ass, knees to the thigh, and then your feet. Keep turning them out. Bang, bang. Knee. You're just grinding them out. Keep grinding them out. It's beautiful. Again, on your feet, hands tight. Right hand right down the middle.
Listen, be careful.
Right hand right down the middle.
You guys come out and big shots. Stay tight.
Hey, work in this area right here. All right. Again, take, pull his feet out, use your feet.
Sound advice from the experienced corner, Joziah Fry. Luis Felix Gregabello in the cage with him.
Yeah, and they're calling for a little bit more urgency when he's controlling against the cage, right? They're like, knee him in the thigh, knee him in the butt. Jump on his foot. Be aggressive.
Output going, yeah.
Right? Those are the money in the bank shots. You take enough knees to the thigh, it'll slow you down in a 5-round fight.
Yep. Do damage.
You can see Dalton being a little bit more patient. He's trying to time a shot, right? But that's the danger.
Out in the open now, right in the middle of the cage.
Big takedown. This is a big takedown, right? It's right at the beginning of the round. Joziah Fry was able to control Dalton against the cage, and now, like you said, there's no way to work up the wall or anything like that. We'll see if Dalton starts to just scoot towards us here.
Yeah, he's
get
doing
up
the
onto the
thing,
cage.
pushing on the back of the head, trying to scooch himself inch by inch, but
it's a long ways away.
It is. It's going to eat up a long time.
Joziah Fry establishing that control, but that's it thus far. So if Cal Dalton does get out, explode, land some shots, make the argument for going his way. So that's what we were talking before. This has been Joziah Fry's match. But in a fight as competitive as this, you definitely got to keep mindful of that output that you're producing and make sure you're always scoring on the just cards. Yep. Because a quick momentum shift and a 30-second burst from Dalton might steal him around in a fight like this.
Yep.
And he's working his way back up here. And now let's see if Fry takes his corner's advice. He's hooking the leg well. Look for him to pull that out.
Wants to turn Dalton. Yep, nicely done.
And good momentum from Dalton to scurry back to his feet as quickly as possible. But Joziah Fry has turned the corner in these past 2 rounds. Miguel Severson, the adjustments that Fry have made have been substantial. What does Cal Dalton got to do to get back to the state he was in that first round?
He's definitely going to fight the hands. You see how Joziah Fry has his gable grip and it's super tight? I feel like he's going to fight the hands, brace, push out, and just push off his head to get out. Here he's got to use the wall. He's got to climb.
Indeed, Joziah Fry just sticking to the bread and butter that's gotten his dance in dominant fashion. Just wet blanket right now, making Cal Dalton mind his P's and Q's defensively, not making him to float out and take a riskful shot at getting back to the position because of how dangerous Fry is in this position.
Yeah, the thing about this too that keeps Dalton from being able to really explode or do much to Gabe too well is that leg hook. You know, we talked about it earlier with Orglayev, but grappling with your legs, especially in these wrestling positions, is super, super important to controlling your opponent so they can't just explode out.
Right, you have this whole upper body fight going on, but then you have the lower body fight. Yep. And the guys that are really able to wrestle with their legs and have practice with them usually are far superior to guys that don't have as much experience with that. And he's doing a good job of hooking the legs, sweeping the foot. You know, he's always working one pace.
Don't worry about this. We're grinding them out, okay? I need more damage. Back, right or left, when you have that forward pressure, step on, score points, okay?
When you get him down, look at me.
Blair,
Here,
Blair.
you're shooting with the left hand,
Okay? Blair, yeah, take a step. Hey, you can't miss with that right hand. Face, I need more face. Explosive face, boom. And then out, in, out.
You can't get a shot.
In, out, boom. Your face at pace, third round, gotta be up now, fourth round. Let's go.
Championship rounds ahead. We feel it's certainly placating to the point of kick-up aggression right there. More volume, more dominance in the wrestling first people. Joziah Fry, who is seemingly cruising into these championship rounds, momentum in his favor.
Well, yeah, going into these championship rounds, how are we going it? Because 1 was for Dalton, 3 for Fry. 2 is slipping my mind.
Joziah, that leg hurt him.
2 is moving.
He hit that peroneal nerve, right in the calf.
Yeah, you saw that reaction immediately, kind of deadening, and it's still having an effect. You saw that base on that step back affect a little bit.
He's trying to hide it, but
he can't step back. That effective low calf kick. Oh, right hand from Dalton, staying tough. Oh, he can't walk, but he can fight.
Yeah, he's still throwing.
Yep.
Nice trip. Yep, he wraps the leg around, takes him down to the ground.
Immediately into side control, and is the exact spot he wants to be in if he wants to implement that up big aggression. Miguel, the control's been substantial for Joziah Fry, but do you think he could posture up and kick up the aggression much like he has late in the fights that he's produced in the past?
Joziah Fry is relentless, and honest, from that big reaction from the calf kick, I would have kept going with that leg kick. You know, it seemed like it was really hurting him and affecting him. I would have done that, but I mean, this is also a good position too. He's like a wet blanket. Calvin Dalton is having a hard time getting up.
This spot's a little bit tricky as an amateur too, right? Because you can't elbow. You have to create a lot of space to really, you know, get any good shots off. So he's prioritizing control right now.
Yeah, and that's his game, right? He comes in there, you see how heavy he is, right? There's no space between him and his opponent in these positions. Oh, nice good reversal by Dalton.
I don't know if that was Joziah going for the neck after trying to pass, but it was a good awareness of how Dalton to wait for that explosive pass from Joziah Fry. He had a bite on the neck, but now Cal Dalton at the back with a minute left to go in the round.
We saw in the first round, when Dalton was in a dominant position on the ground, he was able to keep it there, right? So he finds himself in another dominant position here. He hasn't been able to get either hook in. He might be waiting to shoot that left leg. Control Fry's left leg right now.
And this is one of those subjective rounds where the first 2 minutes was the leg damage accrued by Joziah Fry and then the top pressure. But now a dominant position for the last minute, Cal Dalton, with the back take that hasn't been broken, not exactly tremendous damage done by anybody, but the subjective rounds, his dominant control where, you know, oh, there it is, Joziah Fry reversing, and
Big shot at the end.
eating an up kick there, sends the mouthpiece flying across the cage. I think it's, now it's been tough, but
You got to beat him in this round decisively, all right? Forget about everything else. Forget what's bothering you.
Go forward with the jab to the body, right hand, and then step in. Move your feet again. Right?
He's got to
2 or 3, 1. It's 2 or 3, 1.
one or the other. Either way, you got
The way was angry.
Yeah.
Come forward with the jab to the body. Touch him with that right hand, and stamp it again.
Don't let him sucker you into a brawl, all right? If he suckers you to a brawl, he's just going to shoot you.
Go forward, jab to the body, right hand, and then step. Over and over.
That's it. So last round, you got it.
Trust me. Trust these guys. Trust skills. Right? Here it goes. Go.
competitive fight through 4 rounds. As you mentioned, round 2 kind of up in the air. Maybe round 4 was up in the air. Looks like round 1 and 3 only just ones for either way. So depending on how this 55 round goes, we could see scorecards all over the place, depending on the angle of which the judges watching the fight, what they favor.
Yeah, this is still anyone's fight.
I actually think Dalton should shoot again because he had a lot of success with that shot, and I think a surprise try. I'd like to see him shoot, start wrestling, end up on top, because he seems to be pretty strong on the ground and able to control Fry. He's success there.
I gotta agree, because he shocked Fry in the first round at that, and when he did, he was able to maintain that back take for a bit. Nice right hand ducking under from Dalton.
You see him level changing a bit, because that's a risk, right? When Fry gets on top, he's just, you know, Dalton was able to reverse it before, but for the most part, Fry's been able to control these positions and stay there for long periods of time. We got 2 minutes left in this fight.
Right, and he's been able to control it for about 2 minutes before.
Right, and this is a big round.
Right.
This is round 5, championship fight. We got a close one.
Yeah, you cannot afford to waste any time here.
No, not at all. And Fry has just been so good with that single leg attempt, stepping through, landing it with the trip on the step through leg. 50 final round, one more time to Miguel Sevison.
Hey man, you know, Joziah Fry is doing an awesome job, taking down, controlling them. Calvin Dalton, I just actually see what he's doing with Cage with his feet. I would actually use that for momentum to push him off and reverse it somehow.
Here, when his feet are squared, that's when you could. It's not going to be easy, but this is where you could explode out of it.
I would like to see a little more urgency out of Fry now. I know he's runs the risk of having the position flip, but this is a very close fight, right? And you want to seal that last round. And is control going to be enough, or does he actually have to do some damage at some point? Lay some big shots down. You did see him do it in the later rounds of his last fight, so let's see if he's going to...
Agreed, or, you know, try to work some submissions, right, where you don't lose the control. Start attacking the arm, something like that. You know, a couple little shots, and then you go for, you know, a paint rush or a Kimura. Right? Even if you want to take the risk of stepping over for an armbar, that kind of thing. But with 30 seconds left, you can afford to take some risk. Or, you know, it's always a gamble, but you want to see it.
Yeah, it's a gamble, but this is the
There he
gamble.
goes. There's some big shots.
This is the time to take the gamble in these amateur tough fights where your pro run is completely new on the record.
And he's got to keep going right here.
Oh,
he had him in a little bit of crucifix for a minute there.
Yeah, Joziah Fry really kicked up the aggression late.
This is how you have to finish the fight.
Yes.
Now, next
Dalton
step,
reverses it.
next step for him is to keep that kind of pace longer through the fight. Get some more of that round 3, round 4, and really start running away with the dominance that he's established. But for my money, he should have 3 rounds in the book, Joziah Fry. But we'll see how the judges score, because Al Dalton was competitive and he came out, shocked everybody, including Joziah Fry in that first round, and was in that fight the whole time, landed some big shots of his own. These guys are very competitive. You saw that brought the best out of each other through those 5 rounds.
Yep. Right. Obviously, the toughest fight either of them had so far. They both tested each other in all realms of the game, so really good to see for the both of them.
Yeah, I think that, all right, a little replay here. This is right at the end. You know, he trapped Dalton's on there for a second with his leg, fired some punches. Dalton was able to reverse it and end up in a good position at the end there. That was definitely the most adversity that Fry has faced, which is also important, right? That's why you have these tough matches as an amateur. That's why you take these amateur title fights before you consider making your professional debut, right? So this adversity was good for him overall. Great matchup from both guys. Very exciting fight. We weren't really sure, you know, who's gonna end up top. Good striking exchanges too.
Yeah, right, absolutely. There was a point in, what was it, the fourth round there, where both guys were just standing there saying, all right, let's see what this is like. Let's roll the dice here.
Yeah, very great, good fight there.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep it going for these two. What a way to kick off the main card. After 5 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges score this fight 49-46, giving you your winner by unanimous decision. And still, the Cage Titans Amateur Flyweight Champion, Joziah King Fry.
So after a hard-fought battle, Joziah Fry remains the amateur 125-pound champion. And, you know, we're offering some criticism too, but great fight, great experience to have. And he did do some damage. We're seeing Calvin Dalton limping out of the cage now. That calf kick was the most substantive thing in the fight on either side.